Big match, part 1, Chelsea, Sheffield United, production number 4785, date recorded 2973, take 1.
I'm glad to have you with us again on the big match. We've certainly got plenty to keep you interested in the next hour or so. Our matches today are Chelsea against Sheffield United. We're going to back that up with Norwich against West Ham. And our bonus match today is a few glimpses of Newcastle United against Arsenal. Malcolm Allison is in the studio today to give more depth to the action, and Brian Clough tells why a month ago he tried to buy Bobby Moore. But first it's off to Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea are playing their first home game of the season, and there's a bit of a change coming over the ground because the new stand is still some way from being completed, but at least it's now beginning to look like a stand. So it's Chelsea against Sheffield United, two sides without a point and without a goal. For Chelsea, with Peter Osgood, they make a change in attack where Chris Garland is injured, so Ian Hutchinson returns to 10 with Bill Garner taking the number 7 shirt. As for Sheffield United, they come with England hopeful Tony Curry and an unchanged side. I'm sure the Watford fans will recognise the number 6, Keith Eddy, and the substitute, who is another former Watford player, Colin Franks, whom they bought in the summer. The referee today is Clive Thomas from Wales, and away up there on the shed, a vast part of this 28,000 crowd is now anxious for the start.
And now the season at Stamford Bridge gets underway, with Sheffield United in the red and white stripes and black shorts defending the goal to our left against Chelsea all in blue. Two clubs who could hardly have made a worse start to the season. 2 defeats each and not a goal yet scored, although John Harris, the manager of Sheffield United, and Dave Sexton of Chelsea both say that their performances, or at least their results so far, in no way reflect the sort of football they've been playing. Let's hope for the sake of today's game they're right. Osgood, a good jump there. Now McCready versus Dearden. Helped by Harris, and now Houseman. Kemba played nicely for Harris, who gave the pass and kept running. The cross now towards Hutchinson as he goes in, and nicely nodded away for Sheffield United by Cahoon. Good header away by the Sheffield United skipper, as fearless Hutchinson really was powering in on him. But now it's with Jim Bone. Good play. Close, tight dribbling by him, but Hollins spotting Harris. Garner to Osgood. Hudson. Some ironic cheers for the crowd, who feel that Clive Thomas has given Chelsea nothing so far, and now he has given them a throw. He's given him a free kick, in fact. Hollins, a master at free kicks from this sort of position. Good firm striker of the ball, and that one's taken towards Hutchinson, and a goal! No, offside. The linesman certainly didn't give it, but Clive Thomas has given Hutchinson offside. The crowd not happy with that. But the referee has disallowed the goal by Hutchinson. The linesman already was running back to the middle. Satisfied that, as far as he was concerned, it was a good goal, but Clive Thomas saw some infringement there, disallows it. Curry to Eddie. Curry. Salmons. Played for Woodward. Really attacking that defence, but again the shooting off the target. Alan Woodward, who in fact needs only 3 goals for his 100 league goals with Sheffield United, and for a winger that's really quite something. 97 so far. Garner beaten in the air that time by Cahoon. Harris. Just a slight deflection there that gave Chelsea the throw. Hutchinson, oh, snaking past Flynn beautifully there, Hutchinson. And now Garner trying to shoot on the turn, and Osgood was free for the pass and probably in a better position than Bill Garner. But Hutchinson did so well there, applauding others, but they should really be applauding him, the way that he found a bit of space there and got that ball over. Dearden winning it in the air, but no support. Osgood. Again, this combination with Steve Kemba coming in nicely. Kemba still going on, going hard into that challenge. McCready right in there, Kemba right in there. And they're trying so hard to get it away. It'll fall now for Garner, maybe. Back for Houseman, hit first time against that Sheffield United defence. And still it's not away. Handball given and a penalty. A handball given, presumably against Len Badger. Well, that can't have been an intentional handball. That was more a reflex defence of his face, I would have thought, by Badger than anything else. And it looks as though somebody's being booked for showing dissent. So Badger absolutely bewildered by that decision. But it gives Chelsea, having one goal rather controversially disallowed, gives them the chance of going ahead with a controversial penalty. Now, it's going to be Johnny Hollins who's got to take it. Young Tom McAllister, the 19-year-old Scot, who's got to face him. And it's 1-0. Hollins a scorer. Chelsea ahead. Well, certainly that was a controversial penalty, and it was noticeable too where the referee was standing when it was taken, way back amongst the players in the ruck outside the area, watching for encroachment. A position I've very rarely seen referees stand, and we'll look at that again later. But Chelsea go ahead. And a free kick this time given against Chelsea, against Alan Hudson. Well, maybe that'll unlock the floodgates. I think people came expecting a fair number of goals here today, and the football in the first half hour was really most disappointing. Hudson and Osgood with little chance to get to it, but now Hollins, the man who scored from the penalty spot. Webb. And now Hudson. There's Osgood away again, and Hemsley getting in. A free kick given against Osgood. The players none too happy with a number of these decisions by Clive Thomas. But certainly by the way that Hemsley has gone down and injured, it must have been quite a severe challenge that he and Osgood had. So Len Badger on his 30th birthday taking a knock there, but all right again, and Jeff Salmons to take the free kick for Sheffield United. Hudson to Osgood. The high cross again. That'll float under McAllister's crossbar, and he had to put it over. Well, that was a beautiful cross in terms of putting a young goalkeeper under pressure, because he floated it just under the crossbar, and with the man like Hutchinson coming in hard, the youngster really had to keep his eye on that ball. He did that well enough, but he's given the corner. Osgood right in there, David Webb, number 5, right up as well. A deep corner again, Garner coming in on the far side. And it must have come off Cahoon, because it's another Chelsea corner. Garner, who's been winning a lot of good balls in the air, but now they're going to take a short corner. It's back now with Houseman. Not noted as a right foot player, but now it's on his left foot. Dinked again there very nicely, and Webb was almost in. And another corner. Well, it really has livened up now. Webb, who'd gone up for the corner, stayed up and very nearly had that ball sneaking in at the far post. Hollins with a corner on the far side now. Hutchinson made a dummy run towards the near post, hit very firmly indeed. Houseman again. Well, if only he could have dinked that one back the way he had the previous one just a moment before. I think rather caught in two minds there. So Webb with a much shorter haircut this season, and Harris, who always believes in a short haircut. But now it's Woodward faced by Harris. Good cross again, and Bonetti really at full stretch. Salmons had come up so quickly behind him. Looked for a moment as though Bonetti might be turning up dangerously close towards his own net. And now things have really got on the move again. Billy Dearden right in there, Len Badger number 2 right in there. And again, it's Woodward to take one of these corners for Sheffield United. Deflection that time. Osgood right back to help out. Badger with plenty of time. And a high up and under, which Hollins kills nicely. Hollins again. Turned back to Harris. Red and white shirts were swarming all around him. Hollins a long way clear. Kemba to Houseman. Nicely played there by Chelsea to Hudson, and now to Osgood. Back for Hudson again. Chelsea now moving with a bit of conviction. Houseman. Hutchinson. Too many cooks there. And now Tony Curry. Bone up ahead of him. Dearden up ahead of him. Badger's made a run down the right for him. Still with Curry. Here's Badger. And a throw. 7 minutes to go to half-time. Chelsea is still leading by that controversial penalty. Badger with the throw. Oh, nearly a little too high for Webb. Didn't really get the right sort of header in there. But now Garner for Chelsea. Ran straight into trouble, and it's with Tony Curry. Letting one fly, and a beautiful goal! Tony Curry, a superb goal! Well, Chelsea lost possession where they had no right to lose possession, and Curry pounced with a tremendously powerful right foot shot. 1-1. And I think that Tony Curry scored only 1 goal in the league last season and 1 in the League Cup, 2 for his season's total. Well, he's got off with a really magnificent start this season, giving Peter Bonetti absolutely no chance. Top right-hand corner. Webb to Osgood. Headed down for Hutchinson. Good piece of play by Hutchinson. And here's Kemba again to Houseman. Kemba. Houseman. Again, he's got that cross in. Houseman, and a good header there by Hutchinson. And McAllister had precious little time to see and get behind that one. Salmons for Sheffield United. Webb's header. Got a feeling we haven't seen the end of the goals yet this afternoon. Both sets of defences looking just a little bit leaky. And here's Curry now again for Sheffield United, with Bone right up there and only Harris back. Still with Tony Curry. Played this time for Woodward and hit straight at Vanetti. What a feeling Sheffield United should have made a little more of that. Houseman. In the last minute, plus a little bit of time for injuries. McCready with a throw. Garner. Kemba. Hudson. Garner again. Sheffield United now with a lot of red and white shirts back, getting themselves out of trouble. And the ball with Badger. And now Curry again. Curry still going on, and played nicely for Jim Bone. He's all right, he's onside. And somehow Chelsea scrambled that one away as well, with their defence really in disarray again, as the whistle goes for half-time and the sides all square at one each. John Hollins, the man who scored with that controversial penalty for Chelsea, and then the equaliser coming from Tony Curry, a truly tremendous shot. Still to come on the big match this afternoon, highlights of Norwich against West Ham. Our bonus match as well, Malcolm Allison and Brian Clough. But the half-time score at Stamford Bridge is Chelsea 1, Sheffield United 1, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes with the second half. And in the crowd today at Stamford Bridge, former England cricket captain, now of Kent, of course, Colin Cowdrey. And we're standing now at 1-1, although in all honesty there could have been 4 or 5 more goals than that in the first half. I'm sure that both managers will have had a word with their defences, both of whom looked very fragile indeed in that last quarter of an hour in particular. But here's Chelsea now, getting us away, defending the goal to our left. David Webb, the long ball to Bill Garner. It's with Ron Harris to Houseman. A flick on towards Garner again. But again, just a little too delicate, and the Sheffield United defence closed very quickly on that occasion. And a foul there on Tony Curry. He really has played exceptionally well in this first half. Scorer of a magnificent goal, and he's hit 3 or 4 very good long passes of some 40-odd yards, very accurately, but has always been attacking this Chelsea defence. Webb with a header. Now Hollins. Interception there by Eddie, and a good pass there to Dearden, who's onside. He's quite all right. Webb hurrying to get back. Dearden with the shot, which is wide. Such pattern as there is, and there isn't really very much about it. Coincides very much with the first half, where Chelsea perhaps had a little more of the game, but Sheffield United was suddenly making these quite surprising breaks through a non-existent Chelsea defence. Cahoon's header. And now it's with Hemsley. Dearden again, nodded down nicely there for Salmons. Interception by Hudson. A presentation to Curry. Woodward, Salmons. Curry again. Faced by Hollins. Hollins trying to get him to go Back towards his own goal. Woodward now to Hemsley right in there. And Hemsley scored in this game last season, but he was denied a shot there. But Eddie gets the shot in, and that was a little too close for comfort again for Chelsea. Fellow who's moved up from Watford in the 3rd division to the 1st division and really has taken to it very well. Got through a lot of good work in the middle of the field for Sheffield United. Keith Eddy. Hudson to Houseman. All played there by McCready, straight to the Sheffield United player Jim Bone. And McCready coming back because Bone was so slow making any value of it, but it's with Woodward now. So the danger is still there for Chelsea as Woodward turns it across again, and Webb so close to turning it into his own net. Curry, back for Eddie. And again that cross into the Chelsea area. Hollins now with plenty of time. Garner trying to turn with it. Now fighting for it with Salmons, brought down, and a free kick. Hollins with that long free kick again. Hutchinson trying to get a touch to it. But he hasn't had too much scope in the air against John Flynn. Hudson. And now Osgood, onside. Curled nicely, but just over that crossbar and behind. Webb, Hudson. Oh, and here's a break for Sheffield United with Salmons. He's going to get a clear shot at goal, Salmons. And Bonetti just picked it up when it looked a surefire bet that Sheffield United would go ahead. But Bonetti did very well to pick that one out. Hudson. Picked from a long way out. And that time it was McAllister's turn. Something that is in drastic need of repair, particularly in that Chelsea defence, the way 2 or 3 times that Sheffield United have been able to make those quick breaks from the middle of the field and get a clear shot towards half-time, and there again with Salmons. It'll be John Hollins who takes the throw for Chelsea. Hutchinson. Still got all the bravery in the world, Hutchinson, but he just, if anything, lacks that yard or so in pace that he seemed to have before those succession of bad injuries. And here's Curry taking it up again for Sheffield United. Oh, well stopped there by Webb. Curry just a little greedy there because he had Bearden beautifully placed outside him. And there's the shout for Garner to go racing away. And Garner now is through! Oh, and it's saved by McAllister! After Flynn had fallen, Flynn fell. Garner had just the goalkeeper to beat, and McAllister did supremely well. There's a break now for Woodward. Quarter of an hour to go as Woodward is stopped that time by Hollins, but gets a corner. So Bonetti, Harris, Jim Bone, they're waiting with another of these testing corners from Alan Woodward towards the far post, and he hits them so well and low. Well held that time by Bonetti. Hudson. McCready. Houseman. Kemba getting a little bit of treatment on the far side while the game goes on. Hudson now. Garner wanting to turn on it. He's found Osgood. Played wide now for Hollins. But Sheffield United with so many defenders back again, and that wasn't a good cross. Hit much too firmly there by John Hollins. Steve Kemba changing his boots. Norman Medhurst, the Chelsea trainer, son of Harry Medhurst, for so many years the trainer here. And still, in fact, in an official capacity here. That fell nicely for Bone. And Alan Woodward is all right, he's onside now. Can this put Sheffield United ahead? He has! Alan Woodward, 2-1. And Chelsea have at last paid for those errors in defence. Another sweeping move that leaves Woodward in the clear. And Woodward goes through with that shot to make it 2-1 to Sheffield United. So Woodward now taking his tally to 98 league goals. A winger with a fiery finish. And Chelsea now have something like 13 minutes to repair that damage. Dearden trying to play it for Bone, but Bonetti there. And Chelsea in danger at this moment of starting the season with 3 successive defeats. And Mickey Droy, their big substitute, is now stripping off. And Ian Hutchinson is going off. Well, he struggled a little bit for pace, Ian Hutchinson. And so Droy, a big defender, has come on, and I would think that probably means that David Webb goes right forward. Yes, Webb, in fact, the number 5, is right up now in a centre-forward position. Woodward. Crossed again by Len Badger towards Tony Curry. Referee looking hard at his watch again. Garner. And there goes the final whistle. It's all over with a bad start indeed to the season for Chelsea. 3 games, 3 defeats, only 1 goal to show for it, and that came from a penalty, and it wasn't good enough to beat Sheffield United. Alan Woodward's winner, some 10 minutes from the end, adding to the goal scored by Tony Curry, a truly brilliant one in the first half. They're the 2 Sheffield United goals. Johnny Hollins, the scorer of the penalty for Chelsea. But so we're left with certainly disappointment for Chelsea fans and a final scoreline at Stamford Bridge that reads Chelsea 1, Sheffield United 2.
When you cut a full game down to about 30-odd minutes, it's obviously got to be something of a distortion. I don't know what you felt about Chelsea, but I think most of their fans and the players themselves felt that at times yesterday they were almost pitiful. I also made a hash of 1 or 2 things there, so let's now put those straight with Malcolm Allison. And I think the first thing, Malcolm, was the disallowed goal by Ian Hutchinson early in the game, which puzzled a lot of people. But we show it to be a very good decision, don't we, by Clive Thomas?
Yeah, it was an excellent decision. You can see it's a very obvious push by Hutchinson in the middle of the back of Colquhoun.
Well, we've got a view of it, in fact, from a view that nobody else in the ground had, with a camera up on that new uncompleted stand. And this is what we saw. John Hollins now, the players coming in from the left, and there's the push by Hutchinson on Colquhoun. Malcolm?
Yeah, you see Colquhoun, he's running in the flight of the ball, and then all of a sudden he's 2 yards away from the ball, so it's obvious that he's been pushed in the middle of the back.
So a good decision by the referee, but a few minutes later he made a controversial one, the penalty.
Yes, I thought it's a very difficult decision, but that's what they call referee's discretion, I think. And this was a shot by Houseman, which was blocked down.
That's not handball there.
No, and the ball comes out, and then Houseman goes to hit it back into the box. A very high kicking action by Houseman, but
yeah, were his feet too high there? Was Colquhoun defending his face, I think is the question.
Yeah, it's difficult to say, but I suppose technically it was a penalty.
Yeah. Then we had a very interesting situation, the position that the referee took up. There you see him on the right of the picture, on the D of the crescent. Now, this is a suggestion, I think, for all referees. It's something that some of the top referees are doing. They say from that sort of position, you can watch for encroachment, Malcolm. You can also watch the kicker, And you can also see if the goalkeeper moves as Hollins there takes that penalty. Does that seem sense to you?
That's excellent positional play to me, and I think that positional play, as far as linesmen and referees are concerned, is the most important aspect of their game. And I think that if our linesmen would take a little deeper situation, instead of being in line with the back four, if they were 3 or 4 yards deeper, they would see things a lot clearer. But I think that's excellent.
Yes, it's a suggestion, in fact, that referees, no matter where you're refereeing, in the local park or in the First Division, that's a position you can take up really for penalties. But Chelsea had problems yesterday.
Yes, I felt that they were dispossessed too often, coming out of their own half. And often they were caught with their backs to the game.
What, backs to the way they should have been going?
Well, you see, they were facing their own goal, receiving lots of balls facing their own goal, and where they should have been facing half on. If they were half turned and they could see that goal and that goal, instead of receiving balls where they got their backs to that goal, and Sheffield United took advantage of this, coming in from behind them, dispossessing them, and with good forwards like Salmons and Curry and Dearden and Woodward.
Well, there are a couple of examples of this, Malcolm. Back there, for example.
Osgood had his back to the game. He had to play a square ball to Webb, and he's dispossessed there by Curry. Curry takes the ball, the defence backing off, and Curry just lays a square ball in there for Woodward, which was a goal-scoring chance.
And an even better example of that coming up now. The Chelsea player facing the wrong way.
He plays the ball back there, and there's another one, receives the ball square. He's dispossessed there by Salmons, and Salmons clean through. Any defence will be exposed, if it's dispossessed very, very early. And this is what happened in these situations.
Tony Curry impressed a lot of people yesterday. Brian Clough, in On the Ball yesterday lunchtime, was saying that he sees Charlie George as England's answer to the midfield against Poland. I think you favour Tony Curry a bit, don't you?
Well, I think this is the best all-round inside forward. I mean, he's got tremendous power, he's got skill, he can beat people. I think he's the nearest thing we got to Netzer in this country.
Do you really, as highly as that?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we can have a look at some of the best work of Tony Curry in that game against Chelsea yesterday. And first of all, some tremendous 40-yard balls that he plays, which not many players in the game seem to be able to do.
He picks up a ball here. He's just outside the centre circle, and he hits a tremendous right foot ball. It's gone about 50 yards to Dearden. It's a tremendous ball. It stretches the Chelsea defence right across the park.
That's the value of it, is it?
Yeah,
that you stretch a defence so wide.
I mean, he's pulled everybody. I mean, he's pulled them right from the middle of the park right to the touchlines. Here he is again. He's hitting one to the opposite wing. A tremendous ball again with his favourite right foot. And there's Dearden again. This boy from Chester cost £10,000. He's been tremendous value for him. He was top goal scorer last year.
With a good understanding with Curry, obviously.
Yeah.
I tell you, some of the runs he made through the middle, I thought had a touch of Rodney Marsh about them. I don't know whether that's maybe a bit extravagant.
He's got this skill and flair. He beat a man easily there. Another situation, he could have laid it through. Yes, he's laid a good ball through there. Another great chance for Bone. He miscontrolled it early there.
I think if he's got a fault sometimes, it is that I suppose if you're very critical, he does try and do a little too much. There's an example of that coming up now, Malcolm.
He picked up that ball in the same deep position, and he's carrying the ball 30, 40 yards.
Now, the pass is on, surely, to Dearden there, isn't it?
He had a pass on there, but he may not have seen it because his concentration on the defender may have been so much so that he hadn't seen Dearden on the wide outside of him.
But the goal now.
Oh, this is tremendous.
Garner dispossessed.
Yeah, and he hits the ball with the outside of his foot. And the ball moves 6 feet, 7 feet in the air. It's a fantastic shot, that is one of the best goals I've seen for a long, long time.
Really? It's good. I mean, because he swerved it with such power.
I mean, the ball must have moved 6 or 7 feet. I mean, it's going towards the right-hand side, and then it's finished up on the left-hand side. Bonetti's all over the place.
So you're a Tony Curry fan?
Especially after that.
Malcolm, thanks very much indeed. Well, now we come to our bonus match, and it's Arsenal's visit to Newcastle United. The pictures come from Tyne Tees Television, the commentator is David Taylor, and Newcastle are in the stripes.
Back once more to Bob Wilson, Arsenal's Scottish international goalkeeper. Peter Storey, Rice, Charlie George, but Moncur in with the tackle. And Smith. And finally, it's Frank Clark, back to Ian McFord. Robson getting his first touch of and brought down, and a free kick to Newcastle. Strong tackle there by David Price. Natras gets his centre in, and a goal! And the scorer is McDermott. Terry McDermott has scored for Newcastle in the 3rd minute of the game. What a start for Newcastle. So that's 1-0 to Newcastle, and Arsenal have got it all to do now. And now the crowd's getting behind Newcastle. Offside. Well, that really took Arsenal by surprise. The ball broke loose following a cross by Irving Natras, and Terry McDermott put it into the net. A dream start for Newcastle. But Arsenal are a totally professional side, and they won't be easily rattled. Lockley with the free kick. Natras. Moncur. And now Hibbett. Crossfield to Brian Clough, but cut out there by Rice. Now Eddie Kelly. Kennedy. Nice ball inside. George with a shooting opportunity. And a goal. Charlie George has equalised in the 6th minute. Really a very simple goal for Arsenal. Charlie George broke through and shot from about 15 yards and gave Ian McFall no chance in the Newcastle goal. Terry Hibbett going to try a long one. Rice. Bad ball. Smith. Brian Clough. Howard. Ball's bobbing around there, and finally it's Hibbett. And now Alan Ball. Looking for support. Plays it inside to Charlie George. Back to Ball. Kerr. Howard. Smith. Brian Clough with Natras outside him. He's holding on. And finally it goes to Natras. Oh, and a great save by Wilson. A shot by Keith Robson. Keith Robson got a good header in there and was very unlucky not to score. Took a great save by the Arsenal keeper to keep that one out of the net. The Arsenal goalmouth looks very crowded. Hibbett, and another marvellous save. What a save by Bob Wilson, and what a shot from Terry Hibbett.
So some great goalkeeping there by Bob Wilson. A good goal by Charlie George, a player, as I said earlier, was tipped yesterday by Brian Clough in on the ball as an England candidate for the World Cup against Poland. There's more of Brian Clough as we now come to your letters. Although the first letter today comes from Jackie Payne, who is a Manchester United supporter from 253 Stag Lane, Kingsbury, London NW9, who was puzzled as to why Lou Macari's goal for Manchester United was disallowed at Arsenal last Saturday. Well, Malcolm, Macari on the right in the light shirt.
Yes, you've seen Macari and Simpson go together, and when this Manchester United player plays the ball on, they're both level. and therefore, if you're level, you're offside.
In fact, it was a very good decision there by the linesman,
Yes,
but a
it
relatively simple one.
Yeah, there was only 2 players involved. But when there's more players involved, you know, often with our back 4 and more or less playing in the line, you know, linesmen find it much more difficult.
Yeah.
And if they stood about 3 or 4 yards deeper of the last man, then I think they'd find it much easier.
That reinforces the point you made a bit earlier in the programme, in fact, about a position for linesmen as well. But now we come to Brian Clough, and I think, well, I know it's delighted the whole big match team to see just how the mail has flowed in about him in this last week, and a swing to about 95% in favour of the fella. Typical was this poem from George Roberts of 343 Clematley Court, Fulham, London SW6. Congratulations to Big Match on landing the season's biggest catch. The accent's harsh, the manner bluff, there's no mistaking that it's Clough. He always calls a spade, never seems to be afraid to criticise and put to shame those clubs who do not play the game. He never sits upon the fence, and most of what he says makes sense. An honest man and very shrewd, if sometimes just a little crude. Not everybody's cup of tea, but Brian, my lad, you'll do for me. And for most of us as well. But Jack Phillips of London E10 has got a question for Brian. He says that he went on holiday, or at least before he went on holiday, he read that Brian Clough had made a bid to buy the England captain Bobby Moore from West Ham. He'd heard nothing about it since, so did Brian try to buy Bobby?
I can't be too specific, only because I'm involved with West Ham, another club, and I don't like talking too much about, you know, transfer deals because it tends to upset. Plus the fact we have a talented side at Derby. But I will say this, to save wasting an interview. We are and have been interested in Bobby Moore, yes. It didn't leak out from us. Ron Greenwood apparently explained to some journalists that I had been down talking to him about a few West Ham players. We are interested in every talented player. And if, for example, Bobby Moore had a commodity, you're talking to me now as manager of Derby County, if Bobby Moore had a commodity which I thought we were lacking at Derby, then I would move heaven and earth to get Bobby Moore.
But has he a commodity that you're lacking at Derby County?
He's got several. First of all, he's so experienced it seeps out of him. He plays in the position where experience is needed most. I believe he has a calming effect on a defence, on a team which has to be experienced to be believed. I believe his actual presence on the field and in the dressing room is such an invisible boost to the players playing alongside of him, it has to be seen to be believed. I would say his reading of a situation, because he's not the quickest of players, he can't tackle to save his life, he couldn't take the ball. We have a laugh in actual fact because there's certain players in the game who couldn't take the ball from my wife, and Bob's one of them. But all his, for his faults I've mentioned, all his talent and his skill makes up for all this type of thing. And of course, overall, everything I've mentioned, the bloke has got some pure ability. So the answer to your question, and it's taken me about 3 minutes and I apologise, is of course we're interested in Bobby Moore. Are there any other good players you can suggest to me?
Let me suggest to you that West Ham said no to an approach for Bobby Moore. Would that be right?
They did say no, yes. They suggested, they didn't suggest, they told me no to any approach I made for any West Ham player. Ron Greenwood was very specific, very precise, and he's a very honest, genuine, nice man to deal with. And there's not many managers in the game with those qualities.
Brian Clough on Bobby Moore, and by coincidence, Bobby features in our third match today, Norwich against West Ham United. And in fact, Malcolm, there's a new Bobby Moore for people to look out for.
Yeah, I watched him play against Ipswich the other night, and he's playing in front of the back 3. I think they're using his accuracy, you know, to create more goals for West Ham's attack.
So he's no longer in the back 4, he's playing in front of the back 3. Well, let's look out for him now as we take in Norwich against West Ham, where the commentators Jerry Harrison and Norwich are in the lighter shirts.
It's gone. Free kick to West Ham. Is it Moore or is it Taylor? Moore to McDougall. Locke is behind him. Best and Robson on the far post. In goes Best. Yes! A beautiful cross from Locke. And the big strong man goes up. One wonders should Kevin Keenan have come for it, but the bulk of Clyde Best really telling there. From the free kick, neatly played up by Bobby Moore to McDougall, back to Locke, an inch perfect centre, and there's the big man getting up above everyone else, and West Ham take the lead. Oh, and Prophet putting it to Robson. Robson can't quite get it to McDougall here on the left wing position. Moore getting up well over Suggett. Colin Prophet, 20 minutes gone. Suggett with Locke behind him, and Holland closing up on him too. Good running by Prophet, a good shot! Save. Beautifully held by Ferguson, but well hit by Prophet. Best on his right, behind him Bonds, and changing it to Moore and Locke on his left. Robson going up front. Here's Locke. Prophet hooks it away. Can Suggett bring it down before Taylor gets in? He cannot. Anderson. And one or two situations were closed up there, but it's Suggett loses it because of the control to Holland. Looking for support. Brooking. Now Briggs. In comes Cross. Taylor beats him, and Haddon's going onto his left foot. Blocked by Bonds, quite bravely. Black getting in on Best again. Mellor now against Bonds and Lampard. But Bonds' sliding tackle gets it away. Ten minutes before half-time, another of Graham Paddon's long ones. Well done by Cross. Rollins rather. Rollins again. Mellor turns well. And what a beautiful goal! What a fabulous piece of work by Mellor. But that stop move from Norwich City, the long throw from Graham Paddon, well worked by Andy Rollins. Gets it to Mellor with his back to the goal, and wham, a great one. Holland. Good one to McDougall. Brooking. Nobody on the left. Now there is. It's Moore and Holland out there. Keeping it close, but keeping possession well. Bonds with a long one. No trouble for Keaton. Four or 5 minutes of concerted West Ham attack now. But here come Norwich City. Mellor against Bonds and Lampard. The throw into Norwich. So it's Graham Paddon with Andy Rollins, the 18-year-old centre-half, coming up again. The man who created the Norwich City equaliser in the first half. What's this one going to bring? Long throw. Rollins. Ferguson. Off the line by Taylor. Mellor. And West Ham living very, very dangerously there. So once again, this set move from Norwich City with, again, centre-half Andy Rollins in the middle of it, and only the other centre-half, Tommy Taylor, rescues West Ham and keeps them on level terms. McDougall to Locke. Anderson sticking with Holland, though, and that's good play. Because easily have stood there and just watched the ball. Suggett and Lampard, Robson to Moore, with on the left there McDougall leaning on Prophet. The bounce just awkward for Colin Prophet. Away it goes for the corner, and West Ham bring up more defenders. Tommy Taylor for a start. Billy Bonds as well. Robson again on the goal line. Tommy Taylor at the front of the goal area. Bonds coming towards it. Robson. Robson coming off the goal line, gets the backhander to him, and it's in. So West Ham take the lead once again. 26 minutes into this second half, from the 8th corner of the game. Brookings in swinger, a lot of diversionary runs from Bonds and the centre-half Taylor, but it's this man coming off the goal line to flick it past Keelan. Cross, and Paddon's going through. Paddon's still going through, and down he comes. Yes, a penalty. And West Ham don't like it. It's the first protest of any sort we've seen from West Ham players. Just two of them, Holland and Locke, have had a word to say to Mr. Hunting, but they haven't kept it up. And it's going to be a penalty for Norwich City. A foul on Graham Paddon, and inevitably it's going to be Graham Paddon who's going to take it. Well, whether or not there was an element of doubt about it, it's still a penalty, and Ferguson now has the chance to try and keep Paddon that tremendous left foot out. With just 8 minutes left. No chance of saving that one. Graham Paddon, who has been a lifesaver before, once again a lifesaver with a coolly taken penalty. That lethal left foot of his. Bobby Ferguson going the wrong way, so with 8 minutes left, 2 goals each.
And that's how it finished, a 2-2 draw. We saw one or two instances there of Bobby Moore in his new semi-attacking role, but he was playing fairly deep as well, Malcolm.
Yeah, I don't think he played there yesterday. I think that maybe they're just saving it for the home games. Against Ipswich for 20 minutes on Monday night, he was devastating in this situation.
Yeah.
But I think they're a bit concerned about the goals against.
Yes, they've conceded 1 or 2 too many. Well, we'll look out certainly for Bobby Moore in his new role in the coming weeks. On the ball next Saturday lunchtime, the big match next Sunday afternoon. We leave you with an explosive look at a couple of youngsters who might well figure in England's plans. Charlie George of Arsenal, Tony Curry, Sheffield United, 2 of the weekend's best goals.
Kennedy, nice ball inside. George with a shooting opportunity. And a goal.
Garner for Chelsea. Ran straight into trouble, and it's with Tony Curry. Letting one fly, and a beautiful goal! Tony Curry, a superb goal!